everybody. We are making videos today doing a winter theme, and I've already done this one. I'm just going to show you. Created this just recently, and actually I really like it. This is with the Echo Park Winter Magic line, and it's an old picture. This picture's from 1926 of my grandfather and his brother tobogganing. But it's a very simple layout. I didn't use a whole lot of different things other than I punched some circles with the different paper. This was one of the journal tags, so I just cut that out. And then these were some letters, some die cut letters from the paper ephemera pack from Cocoa Vanilla, so it's a little bit different. These circles here I did with snowflake paste. So I just try to give these circles that you can see, which are supposed to be, I don't know, it's supposed to be orbs or like snow mist or what, but I was trying to emphasize that. So that's really all I did with this page. It's a very simple page. I did foam square some of this to give some depth and dimension to it, but I am going to be making some more layouts, I guess, with this same paper line because it's a really gorgeous paper line. And this is another one I'll show you. I made a while back, a little bit different, but I used the line from last year, which was crepe paper snowflake line, and I did do this winter cutout that was on my silhouette. But the rest of these items were all from the crepe paper snowflake line, which I know you can still buy some of that from local scrapbook stores. I know Scrap and Bean still has it. But I loved how this turned out too. It's just a bunch of different pictures from last year, but I thought I'd just try a little bit of take on that. These letters in here, you could have done that with paper and, you know, done what you needed to do on your silhouette to make those. I traced out, this is another way you can do this, I traced out those letters with a pencil and I painted in. So that's actually paint. So I painted in those areas with paint. So that's that one. With our Winter Magic paper that we're going to be using, some of it I already have cut out because I used it already in that first layout I showed you. This one is called Snowmen, and that's the other side. Kind of a fun page. This was the base of that page I used on the first one. It's called Let It Snow. There's that one. And there's that side, which is snow globes. This one here, it's a nice one. This is the 3x4 journaling cards. I really like these snowflakes. They're really pretty. And then there's this side, and this is your journaling cards. So you could use the journaling cards or use the other side, or you could always buy 2 pages. Which is what I tended to do with some of these because I knew I wanted to use both sides. This one, I used the trees on this side for the circles on that first layout. And then dots or snowflakes, and this is called Winter Forest. And then, as I cut this one out, there's this side, which is really pretty. Or you have figure skates, and this one's just called multi-journal cards. So we've got a figure skating one. This one I used a fair bit of. It is the Magic Snowflake, and it has, I guess it'd be like greenery, but it's not green. And then all these snowflakes are awesome snowflakes. And yeah, I just have some more pieces from those ones we already used. So we have that white sheet of cardstock and a tag. So I'm going to use some of this, plus I'm going to use some paint and some sprays. So we're going to check this out and come up with a layout. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little bit of spray, and I'm going to smush this onto my layout, onto my cardstock. So I'm grabbing some paper towel, sorry, just so we don't make a mess. And this doesn't look overly clean, but it's paint that won't come off, so it's not going to affect what we're actually doing. So the first thing I'm going to spray is our Distress Spray Stain Speckled Egg. And I am going to spray that onto our cello here, which is really just what you get with your packaging in the stores. And all I did was spray it onto there, and now I'm going to smush it onto our cardstock, our white cardstock. And I'm using a textured basil. You could use just a flat, you could use whatever, you could use something like a 140-pound weight if you want something because of the moisture, you could do that too. But I didn't bother this time, I'm just using regular cardstock. Okay, so I got that on there. Now I'm going to give it a little bit of spray of our London Blue Dilutions. Give it a little shake. And now I'm going to spray that. Same thing onto our Silhouette wrap. Don't need a lot because this is a darker color. So I'm going to take that off of here, and same thing, just give it a little smush. Okay, so got that. And the last thing I'm going to do is I am going to put these trees on here. And this is the Tim Holtz stencil. I'm just trying to line it up where I'd like to put some of these. And this I have to be a little bit more careful because I'm going to use a spray with this. And I'm using the Nuvo Mica Mist. And this color is called Pampas Grass. It's a beautiful color. So give that a little bit of a shake. And I'm going to try and do this as carefully as possible. You could use your pixie spray or whatever you want, but I'm just giving a little bit of a spray. And I am getting it on other areas as well, but I plan on covering that up to some degree. So I just want to have a little bit of a mist of trees. This will be covered up, so we don't have to worry about that. But you could have covered that up with the sheet of paper or whatever. So that is how we're going to do that. So that is our background, if you will. And I'm just going to wait a second and let that dry. So now that that's dried, I am going to trim off our edges, and I'm trimming that off. That's why I wasn't too concerned about that, because I knew I was going to cut that off. And I'm going to trim off a little bit off the bottom. Okay. Trying to figure out if I'm going to use this paper. Kind of don't think so. Or if I'm going to use this side. I'm leaning more towards this side. So we'll maybe use this side. This is our winter forest. So I'm going to use that, I think, and put our paper like so. I'll show you the picture I'm going to use. Again, it's another vintage picture. And this one this time is, and it's funny because there's not even a tree anywhere in sight, but this is my great-grandfather with my grandfather and his 3 younger brothers in their sleigh with their 2 Clydesdales. So I'm going to do that picture. Yeah, so I'm trying to just find something else we can put with that. Something that will go with that theme. And as you can tell, it's very white in the background because it's snowy. There's no trees in the background. I'm not really sure really where they are. That could be in their, because this is in the prairies, this could have been on their farmer's field. I'm not really sure. So yeah, we could have like something like just a little bit of winter magic or enjoy the little things. because again, it is very nondescript. Snowy days, warm hearts. What else? I am going to be using either this or this as a base on here as well. So while we are thinking about what we should do, I'm going to cut that off. Yeah, I really like doing vintage pages and kind of family history pages. And I know a lot of people, when it comes to old pictures and things like this, tend to like to use vintage style papers. And I am kind of a little bit different from that. I do sometimes. When I see something that really, really looks old, I will sometimes use older pictures, or older papers and older type of decor. But it's something like this, you can't really tell. Or even that other layout I did with my family. I have a second picture of the same thing, where you have a good idea it's an old picture just by the way that they're dressed. I don't always. So I'm going to do some newer papers, just so it's easy enough to cut. I would usually just make a little mark with my pencil. I don't measure it. It's kind of like a almost borderline eyeballing it, and then you can trim it off. So I'm going to put that there. That will go there, and we will put this somewhere, and then we're going to add some elements of paper and different things. So I'm going to find out what we're going to use. I'm going to lay it out so you can see it, and then we will go from there. So I've went through all my items to use, and what I've come up with is I'm going to use a combination of some stuff. I pulled out an old Kaisercraft line that I had, and I'm going to use some of the pieces of ephemera and papers for that as well. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to tack down our picture onto this pattern paper to use as a mat. So we will put that down there. So I just got a lot of glue on the outside. There we go. I think I got that all. And we are going to tack that down there. This is not the best quality picture because it was taking a picture from a picture. So, and this picture is from the 1920s. So yeah, it's very old and not an original. Down where I'm from, small town, we have town books that were created many years ago with the history of different families in the area, and that's actually where I got this picture from. Somebody had posted a picture of my dad's family from many years ago, and I took the picture from that. So I'm going to tack this down onto our cardstock, or our pattern paper I should say, which is going to be our background. And I'm just eyeballing it. If you really feel like you need to, you could measure, but I don't usually measure that kind of stuff. You will find that I don't measure unless it absolutely needs to be done. When you're trying to recreate things or make albums or in a class. But when I scrapbook myself, I very rarely ever measure. Okay, so I am going to tack this down. And that is our little border at the bottom. Okay, this we will find a place to put shortly. You will notice, and I didn't put this in the video, but I did add some more trees, and I did that with our stencil again. So I did add some more trees to add some background trees, and I used Tim Holtz's Distress Oxide in Stormy Sky. So I went a little bit darker, and I used our brush with it, and this is a Studio Katya brush. But you can use any brush, or you can use a blending brush from Tim Holtz or whoever. They all work. So there's that. Some of the little pieces of ephemera that I pulled are these kind of ephemera. I thought these would be perfect for what we're trying to create. So I'm kind of going for like a woodsy, rustic look. So there you go. And I'm also going to put one of these in here as well. So I will be having that as well. One thing I wanted to do with this is have a little bigger piece of paper on here as well. And I was thinking something like that we might be putting on here. And then we will be adorning it with some of our ephemera. So hopefully this is kind of up your alley. I know there's some people that follow my feed and they don't necessarily like doing oxides or inks or any kind of mixed media type stuff, but I just want to assure you that it is super easy to use. If it's something that you want to get into, it is so easy. If and when I can see you in person again, I would have no problems showing you in person, but it is very easy. I wouldn't tell you that otherwise. Don't be scared to try new things. It's kind of a fun thing in crafting. Try different things. If it's not something you want to get into, see if you can borrow somebody's stuff when you can be with them in person, and see if you like it before you buy. Because I assure you it's a lot of fun and it's not scary at all. Okay, so we're going to do that. I am going to line this up because I want this to be with that. And I'm going to cut the bottom off. So again, I'm going to get out our trusty pencil, very easy to do. I am going to just line that up with where the edge is and trim that off. So get out our trimmer, you look for your pencil mark, which is right there, and cut that baby off. I have just a shade bit of pencil mark left, so I'm just going to erase that off. Alright, so with this, I am going to probably put it around here somewhere. Not really sure yet, still figuring that out. We have our Enjoy the Little Things, which I might put in here somewhere. And then we've got all of our ephemera pieces. This is one piece I'm still waffling whether I'm going to use it or not, haven't decided. Plus we've got that, may or may not use that, don't know. And then I've got these trees and different things that I'm going to be adorning on our page. One thing I wanted to do first before I tack anything down is I wanted to, in Dina Wakely's words, I wanted to pox this baby. So what I'm going to do is I am going to put a little bit of Distress Spray ink on here. So I'm going to give it a little shake and I'm going to splatter a little bit of ink on here. I love this color. Apparently so does everybody else. It's very hard to get if you haven't already got it. That should be good enough for a little bit of spray. So let that dry for a second. It won't be very long because there's very little on here and it's just at the surface. So what I'm going to do, I am not going to foam square this piece with our picture or mat. I'm actually just going to tack it down because we are going to have some pieces, all of our ephemera, our die cut pieces, are going to be foam squared. What you could do if you wanted to is you could ink the outside edge to give it more depth and dimension, but I am not going to do that this time. I tend to normally, but I'm not going to. One thing you could do, you still have this and it still has our stormy sky. That would be an option too. You could go around the outside edge with the stormy sky. Or you could use another ink, but that would blend in really nicely with your trees that we just did. So I'm going to put our adhesive on here. Alright, I'm going to line that up about so, right around there. Okay, so we're going to put that there. I am going to grab our cool edge, our scalloped edge, and same thing, I'm going to put adhesive on that as well. And this as well will not be foam squared because we want it to be flush with our paper, and we're going to put that right flush against it to give it kind of a defining edge. Now we are going to start getting into our foam squaring. I'm going to grab out a new package of foam squares because I go through a ton of these, as I'm sure most of you as well probably do. And grab my favorite ones, which are the larger ones, which tend to be the ones I go through a lot of. I don't use a lot of the smaller ones because I find with the bigger ones, if you need smaller, you can always cut them. So I am going to put our title, our saying, enjoy the little things. I am going to foam square that. And you can use as little or as many as you want. I tend to just put them in the corners, and every once in a while I'll put one in the middle, but I didn't this time. It's coming together. Okay, so we will put that about here. I don't want to totally cover up the sleigh. All right, our next pieces we're going to do the tag. The tag, I'm not going to pop out the part at the top because I'm going to be covering it anyway. So that little hole at the top, you could or not, it's up to you. Punch out that little hole, but I figured it's not worth it because it's not going to be there very long. So I'm going to pop that like that. And I might put the year on there. I might put who's in the picture. Haven't decided. I'll do that after. This one I'm just putting 2 foam squares. Again, you can put as little or as many as you want. And I am going to put, which one should I put on here? Yeah, you know what? Because we have a tree on the tag, I'm going to put a snowflake right there. And it's kind of a cute snowflake. I'm going to put a snowflake right there. With these ones. We've got this piece of ephemera. We've got those. So many things we could do with this right now. I think I'm going to put this tree up here by all the other trees. So I've got that tree up there. I'm going to put this So, you know what? It's all a matter of personal preference. It truly is. I'm going to put that up in there. We have lots of ephemera for this, so if you wanted to add more, you always could. So that's never a problem. I'm going to just keep putting a few snowflakes in here and some tree pieces. Yep. And then we've got this little bauble, but I'm not doing this as Christmas because I don't know if this was Christmas. So I'm going to cut the little bauble off and use this as a circle. And I'm going to pop that down here. And let's see if we should put this on here or not. I'm not really sure that I want to. What do you think? Would you put that up there or not? Would you leave it? It does kind of tie it in together. So that's without, and that's with. Maybe I will tack it in there. And this, because it is like that, I am going to actually pop it down. I'm not going to foam square this one. Alright. And then we will put on a title later, but I'm just going to put the title in here because to me, our title is Enjoy the Little Things. And there you go. So there is our finishing layout. Very easy, very simple to do, using a very old photo with new product. And again, I used the Echo Park and Kaisercraft on this. If you have any questions, just don't hesitate to email me, I remember when, at shaw.ca, or subscribe to this feed and like our Facebook channel. Thank you for watching and have a great day.